A Song of Bards and Bowmen. Guildmaster Lusain wishes to speak to you about learning new skills. Well met, Raid. Would that we had the time for banter, but we're all up in arms here. Yet another Ixal dirigible has been spotted over the Twelveswood, you see. The reappearance calls to mind the Battle of Griffin Crossing. Well, I say battle, but most are agreed that massacre would be rather more apt. Aye, the Ixal dealt us a crushing defeat that day. Right around this time of year it was, more than 2 decades past. A humiliating episode in our history, to be sure, but heavens forbid that we ever forget it. Failure is the finest, if not the kindest, of teachers, and few things drive a man better than its sting. But do let's speak of cheerier matters. Perhaps you have already heard, but a renowned archer has recently returned to the Twelveswood, the one they call the God's Bow. That's just a title, of course. His birth name is Gentiel, and he was once the god of the God's Quiver. The man was a legend even then, and there was no honor greater than being taken under his tutelage. But that's not all there is to him, mind you. Gentiel was also a skilled bard, one of the rare few capable of inspiring others to great feats through song. Upon learning that the God's Bow has returned, dozens of us flocked to him in hopes of training under a legend, yours truly included. Alas, the meetings haven't unfolded quite as we hoped. Gentiel has refused to teach each and every suitor that has approached him thus far. Though it should be mentioned that the topics he is reluctant to instruct us in do not include poetry and song. He seems exceedingly keen to teach us all about them. Some few of us were tempted to take him up on the offer, save that we have a nation to defend. Far be it from my intent to belittle all those bards out there, but I like my chances rather better charging into battle with a quiver than a harp. And here we were hoping that transcendent mastery of the bow might be ours. By the sparkle in your eyes, I'd wager you have an interest in that self-same poetry and song. Come now, there's no call for shyness, and there is more to life than battle. If you would present yourself as a pupil to Gentiel, I happen to know his whereabouts. I'm given to understand that he has made his camp somewhere west of Quarrymill in the South Shroud. Gentiel is an agreeable sort of fellow, and should be willing enough to meet with you. Truth be told, I'm still holding on to hope. If you could find a way into Gentiel's confidence, mayhap he can yet be persuaded to train us. I wish you the best of luck, friend.
Another guest. You are kind to pay me a visit, young one. Naught gives us elderly folk more pleasure than the company of the young. Add to that a steaming pot of tea and the beauty of the Twelveswood, and we could walk for little more. But the curl of your lip tells me that tea and scenery are not what you desire. You seek knowledge of archery, I take it. In which case, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. Raid, was it? Yes, I am Gentiel, the one they called the God's Bow, but that was in another life. I have long cast aside my bow, taking instead a harp to my breast. For years I have lived as a bard, going wherever the wind blows, exulting in the beauty of creation through song. To be sure, I still have the eyes to recognize a promising archer when I see one, and you, young one, have promise. Keep your nose to the grindstone, and one day you may count yourself a virtuoso of the bow. Yet know that virtuosity is worthless without virtue. Aye, the words of the ballad of the vainglorious fool tell us this much. You truly wish to remain and learn poetry and verse? Well, 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 I must admit to being rather taken aback. In uncertain days such as these, there are few indeed who would devote their time to song as opposed to more tangible endeavors. You intrigue me, young one. I find myself growing curious as to how the melodies of old might find expression through you. I do believe a certain friend of mine would be of the self-same opinion. Aye, that would be as good a place as any for us to begin. Listen well, Raid. There is a Mughal named Pukno-Puki, who can oft be found wandering in areas situated east of here. I would have you present yourself to him. Pukno-Puki is possessed of a discerning eye for talent. If he sees potential in you, I shall be well satisfied that you indeed have the makings of a bard. Heed me, O puissant Athlic. Turn thee over the hourglass of time, that we might gaze upon the battles of yore.
This happened. It's just so embarrassing. A blunder for the ages, Kupo. Huh? You understand what I'm saying, don't you? That's a rare talent. Allow, but you've caught me at a bad time, Kupo. Now be a good adventurer and show yourself out. Gentel sent you? You should have said so sooner, Kapu. You do know that Gentel is no ordinary bard, yes? Their songs can salve your heart and strengthen your resolve. They can banish your fears and fill you with hope. And that's not even scratching the surface. Why, to hear him perform is like bathing in sunbeams, Kupo. I've asked, begged, and pled more times than I care to count for a Gentel to stay and sing in the forest. Only now has he deigned to set foot here again. But he's refusing to sing for us. That's a blatant breach of promise, Kupo. But what's this? Why, your being resonates with a chord similar to Gentel's. Perhaps even identical, Kupo. By the 12th, that means that things may yet turn out as planned. Why, you might even have it in you to surpass the man. And that's saying a lot, Kupo. Egads, your coming had so excited me in my predicament, and I escaped my mind. There's a charm that I meant to give to Gentel, you see, but it was stolen as I nabbed, Kupo. I roused just in time to espy the thief and attempted to give chase. Alas, drowsiness robbed me of my balance and I was delayed by this tree. Last I saw the overbold brigand, he, or possibly she, was scurrying toward Taker's Rot, Kupo. Now I realize we've only just met, but would you mind recovering the charm and delivering it to Gentel in my stead?
Excuse me, don't mind me. Just taking your stuff.
Have you recovered the charm?
Pukno-Puki's charm. A quaint keepsake made from a single tiny crystal.
You did it, Kupo! Please, you must now deliver it to Gentel. Tell him that Pukno-Puki thinks him a cunning rogue, but is excited nonetheless. So excited, in fact, he cannot help but sing. Kupo lo 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 lo.
I should have done the Moogle song, not the Chocobo song. Oh well. I am not a bard. I am in fact an anti-bard. People scream when I sing, in pain and agony. Not because of any magical effect, I'm just that bad. Anyway, welcome back, Raid. You have a charm and a message for me from Pugno-Poki, you say. A cunning rogue, am I? I suppose I must explain. Pugno-Poki and I go back a long way, to when first I took up the harp. I made a promise to him then, one that I have yet to make good on. Pugno-Poki has long desired that I remain in the Twelveswood to sing for the rest of my days. Regrettably, I have been ill able to oblige him. Duty cold, you see. I had battlefields to stand upon and comrades to protect. Moreover, an event came to pass that rendered my being in the Twelveswood problematic. I thought that by taking eager souls such as you under my wing, mayhap it would suffice to appease Pugno-Poki. Of course, he saw straight through my little ruse. What the Moogles lack in grace, they amply make up for in wit. The creatures are great lovers of song. That you return with this charm is proof positive of his high regard for your potential as bard and archer both. The charm is a crystal known as the soul of the bard. Pugno-Poki asked that you bring it to me, but he meant for you to have it. It is a gift from the Moogles, bestowed upon those they deem worthy of walking the path of the true bard. The soul of the bard harbors memories of the past, verses and refrains sung by the bards of old. As you gain in worldly experience, more of these memories will find expression through your being, imbuing your song with powers untold. Now, it may surprise you to hear that bowmen and bards are as next of kin. By the same token, mastery of song is dependent upon one's prowess as an archer. The sense in this will be lost upon you at first, but in time the realization will dawn that bow and harp are but string instruments played by the same hand. Go now, Raid, and let your body and soul drink deep of the melodies of old. When next we meet, I hope to see a fully fledged bard standing before me, one who exceeds even Pugno-Poki's wildest expectations. The melody sung by bards of old resounds within you. The Archer's Anthem. Gentel wishes to teach you how to learn a new song. Ah, that glint of determination in your eyes is a testament to your newfound strength. You put me in mind of my salad days, Raid. You would know why I truly abandoned the battlefield and became a bard? That I took an arrow in the knee is what most folks believe, but it is quite clear that you are not most folk. Very well, I shan't insult your intelligence with an untruth. For now, allow me to answer by saying that everything in creation is given to change, and man most of all. I was drawn to the power of song, the power to touch the very souls of men, and decided that I must pursue it. Sadly, that power has been all but forgotten in this age of cynicism. Such songs as those performed by tavern bards serve no purpose beyond the amusement of drunkards. But that was not always the way of it. There was a time when song could shape the outcome of conflict. Ever since nations first quarreled, armies have fielded archers wherewith they rained death upon the enemy from afar. As the battle unfolded, however, the distinction between the lines of friend and foe would grow hazy. Yet the archer's part did not end there. He had to stay ever alert, with arrow nocked and eyes trained upon the struggle.
Even as his comrades fell, turning the earth red with their blood, the archer could ill afford to avert his gaze, lest that moment cost another his life. One need not have a vivid imagination to appreciate the torrent of emotions that raged within him in that moment. Nerves near to fraying, his breast fit to burst, the archer did the only thing he could. He sang. His bow became a makeshift instrument, plucked as an accompaniment. At first, the archer sang only to still the rolling within, but his voice chanced to carry to his comrades. It inspired those engaged in combat, lending strength to their sword arms, and to those who lay upon the precipice of death, it granted a measure of peace. Realizing the tactical potential of song, yet loath to set aside skilled archers for that purpose, Ares began raising dedicated regiments of minstrels. But the members of such units were no warriors, Raid. Fair of voice and nimble of finger, these career minstrels could find a place in the hall of any lord. Yet they knew naught of the burden borne by those who charge into battle, whose lot is to dance with death and sup unpaid, and so their songs rang hollow, holding no power over the hearts of men. In eastern Laodicea, spirits are said to haunt the trees of Raincatcher Gully. I would ask you to travel there and await the emergence of these specters. Though force of arms you are to release the spirits from their tormented existence, and, in so doing, ease their unfathomable suffering. With such a deed might you draw forth an ancient melody from the soul of the bard.
Really? Where the hell did all these people come from? Yeah, it's not my problem. There's no real quick way to get there. Oh well. Melody sung by the bards of old resounds within you.
Welcome back, Raid. In your eyes I see a layer of understanding, of regret, and of futility. And in your heart, it now echoes with the strains of an old song, newly discovered. Embrace this song, and as you play it in battle shall ever more powerful emotions beset and temper your soul. When your stock of tales has grown, pray return and regale me with stories of your adventures.
You hear a faint voice carried on the winds of time. Bard's Eye View. Gentil would help you learn yet another melody of the bard.
'Tis good to see you return, Raid, and more seasoned still for your time in the world. Call me a spoony bard, but as a man in the winter of his years, it gives me great joy to observe an adventure in the spring of his. This is an odd time for recollection, but it was a spring day when a bard first came to my hometown. He played the most sorrowful chords, even as his words tantalized the ear like the breath of one's first love. Many a maiden's heart was stolen during his visit, and doubtless more besides. Raid, would you believe that common bards too were born of archers? This may seem far-fetched upon first hearing, but it isn't so far of a stretch. Ask yourself this: what becomes of soldiers when conflict gives way to peacetime? Some have lives they might return to, aye, but most must needs take up a new trade to make ends meet. Well, it so happened that many who had once bent the bow took to strumming the harp. They wandered the realms, singing passionately and earnestly of the war as seen through their own eyes, of sweet victories and bitter defeats, of sacrifice and cowardice. Their song so captured the imagination of the people, ne'er a day passed that a bard was not called to perform, being in a humble tavern or some great lord's hall. Alas, their popularity proved their downfall. Intoxicated by the intentions of the masses, the bards took to embellishing their songs in a bid to outdo one another. And in time, each song was shorn of verity, till the bard's repertoire contained not one shred of truth. By now you will know that such songs have no purchase upon men's hearts. Certainly a bawdy tune may set off fits of laughter in a sailor, and a sorrowful ballad summon tears from the eyes of a soft-hearted maiden. Yet these are but pale shadows of what songs can achieve. For a blessing, this decline did not escape the notice of the Mughals. As great patrons of the arts, they feared that the true power of song might be lost to mankind. So it was that they labored to gather and safeguard those crystals known as souls of the bard, that they might be bestowed upon worthy men and women. Now, well, as I know you relish listening to my sermons, I dare say it's past time we moved on to the practical side of the lesson. I know I have mentioned this previously, but tell me, are you perchance familiar with the ballad of the vainglorious fool? Nay? Well, that won't do at all. We must remedy this post-haste. The song recounts the massacre of Griffin Crossing, a battle that took place decades past, wherein countless Gridanian lives came to a premature end. Ah, but do forgive me, I seem to have mistaken the proper order of things. Before I begin, I must be convinced that the point of the tale will not be lost upon you. Elsewise, I will have wasted my breath in the telling of it. Now, heed well these instructions. You must make your way to the Welwick Wood, where resides a mated pair of aldgoats that have but recently lost a kid. The pair has been driven mad with grief, and only death will put an end to the uncontrolled rampages. Linger in their territory until you encounter these beasts. Then let fly your arrows of mercy. As you liberate them from their sorrow, so too shall your soul resonate with the echoes of poignant melody. Welcome back, Raid. I can almost hear the cries of mourning that have seared themselves into your soul. That you remain unbowed by such anguish is a testament to your spirit's fortitude. Yet even as your heart swells to contain these new experiences, you must not neglect your skills with the bow. A resilient heart must needs have a robust body in which to beat. Once you have trained both to equal strength, then shall I perform for you the ballad of the vainglorious fool.
You hear a faint voice carried on the winds of time. Doing it the Bard way. Gentil sent to sing for you the ballad of the vainglorious fool.
Welcome back, Raid. By your tranquil countenance, it is plain that both your body and soul are in readiness for the next stage of your journey. Very well. The time is ripe that I teach you the ballad of the vainglorious fool. The song tells the tale of an archer of the god's quiver, whose peerless skill was surpassed only by his hubris. Alas, that hubris led to the annihilation of his entire regiment at the battle which has come to be called the Massacre of Griffin's Crossing. Standing guard in the dead of night, an archer wearying of the sight. Drunk on pride and starved of glory, he forsook his post to claim victory. 10 yalms had the archer crept, when shrieks rang out whence his comrades slept. For he was not there to see the knives, nor to ring the bell and save friends' lives. Tell me, Raid, what lessons can be learned from this tale? Ah, but hold that thought. What your tongue claims to understand interests me not. As before, I'd sooner have you demonstrate the fruits of your learning with bow in hand. This time, however, you shall have the pleasure of my company. I would have you escort me to the Galmora ruins in the North Shroud. It is there that some few fallen from the massacre of Griffin Crossing have been laid to rest. Pray honor this place of remembrance with a bouquet of lilies. Aid me, O puissant Althic. Cast thee back the reins of the firmament that we might gaze upon the battles of yore.
Nimia lilies. Bouquets such as these are oft used as offerings to the dead.
Themni Van! No, I cannot. Why do I still draw breath? That sin of the past would beget another. Forgive me, Raid. As you have doubtless noticed, I am no longer capable of wielding a bow. I, whom they call the God's Bow. I had hoped that the years would take the edge off the memories, but I hoped in vain. Absolution does not come so easily. Heed me well, Raid, for I shall reveal all to you. The man sung in the ballad of the vainglorious fool, whose hubris doomed an entire regiment. He and I are one and the same. Being no stranger to the bow, you know that an archer's role in battle is that of support. His charge is to thin out the enemy line, that his comrades might gain ground in the field of battle. By that most basic of criteria, I was unfit to hold a bow from the first. In my pride and lust for glory, I sent countless souls to a bloody grave, good men and women all, with loved ones and bright futures awaiting them. I lost the will to live that day, becoming an empty husk of a man, tormented in sleep and wakefulness both by the memories of my crime. But the gods were not without mercy. They gifted me with song, that I might find a measure of solace in my wretched existence. A new melody resounds within you, I see. Though this outing was rather far departed from what I had in mind, that it still bore fruit gives me comfort. On that note, let us conclude the lesson. I dare say I have no cause to worry that you will repeat the self-same mistake as the vainglorious fool. Raid, I would be alone for a while. Take yourself back to camp. I shall make my own way there presently.
Your empathy unlocks echoes of an ancient melody within you. Oh. Ah, big tree. Not my problem.
I am glad to see you safely returned, though I rest my voice hoarse through the saying of it. I cannot tell you enough times how much I regret dragging you into such danger. And yet, there is more I would ask of you. If you would do me the kindness of lending your ear, I pray speak now.
Yep, stiff. Pieces of the past. Gentel has a request for you.
You will listen to my request, though you know me for the vainglorious fool I am humbled. The boon I asked of you is simple. I would have you sing for me.
Okay.
A heartfelt performance, massively delivered. You have come far in such a short time, my young apprentice. Hearing your song this day, I am convinced that you are well on your way to surpassing me, as bard and archer both. Soon there will be naught left for me to impart to you. Raid, you have proven yourself worthy of the consecrated garments worn by the true bards of old to honor the keeper. I speak of the choral attire. The attire was entrusted to me when Pukno Poki and I first met, deep within the Twelveswood. The Moogle and I had traded scarce more than a handful of words when he proffered me the attire along with the soul of the bard. At that time I knew not the true power of song, and so declined the gifts. But Pukno Poki would not be denied. For all his good humor, the Moogle can be as unmoving as a rock. This attire chooses to wear, not the other way round, he insisted, and I found myself yielding to his will. In mastering the verses of war, I won acclaim beyond my wildest dreams upon the field of battle, and for a time I was well pleased. Alas, my lust for glory knew no bounds, and the consequence of which you are already aware. It was in the wake of the massacre of Griffin's Crossing. Stricken with guilt, I wanted not more than the earth to open up and swallow me whole. I had lost the will to live, aye, but I was too craven to end it myself. And so I took to wandering aimlessly, in search of a place to die, far away from the judging eyes of man. Disillusioned with the power of song, I committed an act of folly. I scattered the choral attire across the realm. If truly the attire chooses its wearer, I challenged, then let it find its way back to me. Determined that I would not be proven wrong, I went to great pains to ensure that the attire would never again see the light of day, and the pieces now rest in places of peril. Being the proud fool that I was, it never crossed my mind that mayhap another was meant to don it. I would entrust the choral attire to you, Raid, but as you can see, you must needs brave the dangers to claim it. I shall mark its whereabouts on your map, but I can afford you no further aid beyond that. I am deeply sorry that my folly of years past has entailed this burden upon you, but Athlic works in mysterious ways. In his wisdom, it may be that he has sent this trial to test your spirit. I mean not for my sentiments to encumber you, but I am convinced you are the one chosen by the choral attire. But pray do not take that as a license for complacency. Trials wouldn't be called such if they failed to tax one's ability. Stay ever on your toes, Raid. I would have you return whole of body and bearing the 4 parts of my surrendered garment or raiment. Heed me, O puissant Athlic. Reverse the seasons turning, that we might gaze upon the battles of yore.
Nope. Ah. Whoop, whoop, whoop. whichever.
So you have returned, sound of body and mind, I trust, and you bear the 4 parts of the choral attire. I knew you for the true owner of these garments ere I heard your song. Since the day we met, your determination has reminded me of much that I have lost, and would have again. I have at last settled my heart on a matter that has plagued me for some decades. When my preparations are complete, you shall know of my decision. Until then, may your song lift the spirits of your allies, and your arrows seek the hearts of your foes.
Requiem for the Fallen. Gentel wishes to bestow upon you the final garment of the choral attire.
You have done well, my young apprentice. In returning with the choral attire, you have reaffirmed my faith in you. I see no further reason to withhold from you the existence of the final piece in the set, the piece that has brought us together. Listen well, Raid. When I put down my bow, I vowed never again to set foot in the Twelves Wood. That I now forsake my oath is for no other reason than to impart my knowledge to one who will succeed me. Lest you wonder why I should deem that so important, then permit me to relate to you an event which brought about a great change in me. My most recent journey had taken me to Uldar, where I found myself ambling through the marketplace early one morn. Browsing the wares on display, mine eyes were met with a relic from my past, a piece from the choral attire that I had discarded decades before, countless moons away. I felt at once that it was not mere chance that had reunited me with it, and put forth the coin with nary a pause. Holding the garment in my hands, I resolved to find a worthy heir to my legacy. Alas, no sooner had I arrived in the Twelves Wood than I found myself mobbed by archers seeking to hone their skills. Amongst those who came, not a one showed the least interest in poetry and verse. Sorely discouraged and regretting my decision, I made to strike camp and leave the Twelves Wood once more, never to return. It was then that you appeared, young one. When you expressed your desire to learn song, I could scarce contain my joy. Looking back, I am fully convinced that our meeting had been preordained. Your coming has instilled me with the courage to attend that matter of which I spoke earlier. I am ready to make a pilgrimage to the scene of my regiment's demise. Ever since that fateful day, I have been haunted by visions of my fallen comrades, torment graven upon their bloodied faces. Lost to hope, but too craven to end my own life, I wandered the land aimlessly, seeking a place to die. But the heavens denied me even that. Yet just when it seemed that despair would draw me wholly into its black abyss, never to emerge again, a melody resounded within me. It was then that I awakened to the power of song and found new purpose in life. I embarked upon a journey to master such verses as would bestow peace upon the fallen, that I might lay the tortured souls of my comrades to rest. It has taken long years, but I now believe I can offer a requiem worthy of my comrades. To do so, however, I require one last favor of you, Raid. I would have you escort me to the west of the Observatorium, in the Corthus Central Highlands. It is there that we shall find the scene of my regiment's demise. Your presence kindles within me a courage I had thought lost. I would have none other by my side as I undertake this pilgrimage. Now, as I enter the most daunting stage of my life. Once you arrive, I ask you pay your respects with another bouquet of Nimia lilies. When my requiem is sung, you shall have the final piece of the choral attire. Aid me, O puissant Athlic, reverse thee the dance of the stars athwart the night sky, that we might ease the suffering of souls long departed. We are surrounded, and our foes seem disinclined to listen to parley. You must survive this raid. My soul is overburdened with the deaths of too many dear companions. My bow! I cannot! Does cruel fate seek to stain my hands once more? I shall aid you as best I can. Raid, to my side!
I would like to, but I'm chained up right now.
No more lives will be lost to my folly. May my songs envelope and protect you. Envelop and protect you.
Stop that chain bull crap! Stop it! Wait, did you just...
Yeah.
Fine. There.
Rage, you must not fall. Hear my song and be reinvigorated.
Hey! Nah, I'm not doing that.
Raid, without you, I would not be standing here this day. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Forgive me, my friends. I have kept you waiting over long. The Keeper be praised. I can wield a bow once more. It was you, young one, who helped me remember how. I had known this for some time, but your presence is as a salve for the wounds of my soul. Your coming has delivered me from the nightmares of my past. My worthy successor, to you I entrust the final piece of the choral attire. Don it, and go forth to fill the hearts of men with courage and purpose. Through the seasons may turn, bending a man's back and dimming his eye. So long as there is life, there is reason to hope. Thank you, Raid, for showing me the truth of this. With the blood of my comrades upon my hands, to simply draw a breath racked me with such guilt as I could not bear. But the time for mourning is past. I shall take up the bow once more and lend what aid I can to the gods' quiver. In fighting for those who yet live, I do my fallen comrades the greatest honor. Yet another melody resounds within you, I see. Then there is not more I can impart to you. As equals, let us together give praise to life and all the joy that it brings. Heed me, O puissant Althic, turn thee over the hourglass of time, that we might exult in the glory of all creation. In thine exalted name we sing, that the living may savor life, and the departed know true peace.
Your compassion unlocks echoes of an ancient melody within you.
I thank you again, Raid. You have blessed this old fool with a gentle touch of salvation. The Eorzea awaits. Go forth now and inspire endless hope and courage with the beauty of your songs. May we one day meet again.
You hear a faint voice carried on the winds of time.